My name is Brittany, and this is my first video on my YouTube channel, Volume B. This video is going to be really shitty quality, as you can see, because I don't have a camera um, that actually will record a nice video. But I just wanted to go over a couple of books that I read during Christmas break and over the last few weeks. So the first one that I have is Passenger. This is by Alexandra Bracken, and this book is about a violin prodigy that finds out that she can travel through time. And she ends up meeting this pirate, and they have a really cool relationship, and she ends up kind of being the key to everything. It's a really dense book, and it's really hard to get through. It's, let's see, 485 pages. And I like big books. I would rather have a book with a lot of pages as opposed to a book with just a few, because I feel like that's more of a challenge. But if you're somebody who doesn't like to challenge yourself with big, huge number books, then this might not be for you, because it's just kind of a hard read. And you have to kind of Google some things, and there's a lot of history in it, so you have to know some of those historical facts, people, situations. But it is beautifully written. It is so magical. And it's kind of like a cross between Pirates of the Caribbean and, like any other time travel novel. So this is the first book in this series, and it's a duology, which is weird because I don't think that I've ever seen another duology. It's usually like a standalone book or a trilogy at least. So the second book and the last book in this series is Wayfarer. Wayfarer to me was a lot harder to read. I feel like this was harder to read because there's a lot more historical references in this, and because the two main characters, Etta and Nicholas, are apart for so long. And your ultimate goal is to see those relationships that you ship like back together. But it spends a lot of time in different worlds with different characters, new characters. Some of the new characters I absolutely loved, and some of them I could have done without. I felt like they were just extra pieces in a puzzle that was being put together after a really long period of time. Like, a lot of things in this made sense but weren't necessary to the plot line. But I will say that these were two of my favorite books that I have read probably at least in the last year, because they were so challenging, and that's something that I really look for in a book. So if you like things like that, then you will really like this duology. It's hard to say what my favorite part of these books is, because I want to say that it's a relationship. However, for me, it's really the traveling through time, because you're going, back to BC. You're going up to present time. You're going back to the 1800s. You're going back to the 1400s, and there is history in each one of those pieces. So it's just really interesting to kind of have to stop yourself and Google some of those instances and find out exactly what Alexandra Bracken is talking about. And I love that you learn in these books. That's something else that I really like about challenging books, is that you have to learn. You have to be willing to look things up, to find definitions, to Wikipedia some things that you maybe didn't know about. So that was a plus for me with these. The next book I read after that was Scythe by Neal Shusterman. I am not sure still how I feel about this. I just finished it today. I really want to love it, but I feel like for me it's a 3 out of 5. It's definitely a YA novel. It's written as a YA novel, but some of it is really dark, and I feel like that's confusing to me. It's so adult in its components and in the things that are going on in here, but it's not written towards an adult population. So it was confusing for me. It was hard to read. It's almost, kind of like Hunger Games. It reminded me of Hunger Games. Not as the gore is not as detailed, but there's a lot of killing. Like, you don't go through one page without someone dying. So I felt like that was just maybe a little more adult than this is geared to. But I really did love the storyline. And I loved it because, and let me just read you the first lines. A world with no hunger, no disease, no war, no misery. Humanity has conquered all those things and has even conquered death. So this book is about scythes that have to choose people from the population to glean, to kill. so that the Earth's population doesn't grow so big that it can't be sustained. That's interesting to me because I feel like that's a reference to our current world, um, obviously. And it's just really interesting to see a perspective of what someone thinks our future looks like, even if that's not really obviously realistic. But so anyway, this book was really good. Like I said, I'm still kind of processing it. The next book, Thunderhead, is released on the 9th, I believe, which is Tuesday, and I've already pre-ordered that, so that will be here on Tuesday so that I can kind of see where this goes, and if this goes in a direction that maybe makes me like this book more. The next book is actually a series, and I have read all of these, and I just asked for them in print for Christmas because they are not written in the United States, so they release way later than they're actually written. So I've always read them on my Kindle or listened to them on Audible. So this is a series called the Seven Sisters series by Lucinda Riley. She is one of my all-time favorite authors. The other books in this series are The Storm Sister, The Pearl Sister, and The Shadow Sister. And the most recent book just came out, which was The Pearl Sister. They're really dense books, but let me tell you, these books take you on a ride. This is about seven sisters who were all adopted by the same man who they call Pa Salt. When Pa Salt passes away, he leaves them each the GPS coordinates to where they were adopted from, as well as an artifact from that place and a letter. And he basically tells them that it's up to them if they want to go find their heritage and their birth families, if they want to know where they come from, if they want to know why he adopted them. So each story is about one of the sisters, and it kind of takes you through. It goes back and forth. It goes between the sister current time, and it goes back to her ancestor that the story is kind of intertwined with, that explains the reasons for the things that have happened to that sister. So it's really, really interesting. I love the back and forth between the two main characters, especially since you get a feel for these people as family, which is just amazing to me. All of the sisters come from like a different country, continent, and they're all beautiful. And you get a little glimpse of each sister in every book. So this book is about the oldest sister, Maya, but you get to hear about all the other sisters in it. The other thing is that the seventh sister was never adopted. So they don't know where that seventh sister is. They're named after the seven sisters of the Pleiades constellation. And they don't know where Merope, the last sister in the constellation, is. She was never adopted. She never comes home. So, and there are 7 books. So I feel like that 7th book is going to be some kind of discovery about their last sister, which is going to be really interesting to read. So Lucinda Riley has now written 4 of these books. We're awaiting 3 more, anxiously awaiting 3 more. I love this series, and I'm going to reread it and reread it and reread it because every time you read it, you find something different. So this is something that's not really popular. A lot of people haven't heard of this series. A lot of people haven't read this series, and I haven't really seen anyone doing reviews on this series. So I want to push it as much as I can because it is absolutely beautifully written and so exciting. And you get so attached to these characters, especially because you get 7 books about the same family. So if you like historical fiction, you know, family-focused novels, you will love these. Oh, my washing machine just turned on, so that's going to be fun. I want to talk about The Bear and the Nightingale by Katherine Arden, which was the most disappointing book that I have ever read. I think I got to chapter 6, which is 44 pages in, and I just couldn't anymore. I mean, it was so dull and confusing and just weird that I just couldn't. And I know so many people love this book, and maybe I'll give it another try at a different time, but I just am not a fan at all, and I don't know why. I don't know why this is so big. I don't get it. So the next book that I'm reading, and I have chosen all my books for the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge 2018. My list is full. I think there are 55 books on that challenge, but I have a personal goal of 75. Last year I had a goal of 100, didn't even come close. But I was also going to school last year, and I have now graduated, so I can spend some more time on fun things like reading. So this is a book that I think everyone has read, like everyone has read. and I have not. And I kept wanting to and meaning to, and I just didn't. So one of the books that I got for Christmas was Everything, Everything by Nicola Yoon. And this is the book that I'm going to read now. I'm so excited. As you can see, I have my fireplace on. I have my tea. I actually have a snow day from work today, so I'm super stoked to kind of sit down, cuddle up, and just get some reading done because that's my favorite thing to do. So I hope that you like this video. I know that the video quality is absolute crap, but I couldn't record on my computer, and so I had to use my laptop. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. You can follow me on Instagram. My handle on Instagram is volume _B. I also do have Twitter. I don't use it a lot, and I don't have Facebook because I think it is satanic. So if you want to follow me, the best place to follow me is on Instagram. Please comment and let me know what you think of this video and some books that you might want me to do a review on, some books you might want me to read, so that we can kind of do this together. So anyway, I really appreciate anyone who is watching this. I know that I probably will not get many views other than my family and friends, but that's okay with me because I just love to share my passion for reading with anyone who will listen, whether it's one person or 100 people. So yeah, that's it. I hope that you liked it. Please follow me. I don't know what I was trying to say because I feel so awkward ending this. Anyway, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.